Hi, so family. Welcome back to my channel. We talk about all things to heal, grow, and evolve. And today we're talking about the law of rhythm. This law of rhythm is law number 5 out of the 7 Hermetic principles. And bringing this back in the Kabbalion, this talks about the 7 Hermetic principles, and we're going to go through each and every one of them. So if this is your first time watching, welcome. My name is Sage. I talk about things such as spirituality, metaphysics, and African history. So if that's something that you're interested, just keep on watching. Okay, so the law of rhythm, this one is a mutable law, so it means it can be changed. And with the law of rhythm, it states, and I quote, "Everything flows out and in. Everything has tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swings, manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right and the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates." So this law is seen on the oceans with the rise and fall of the tides. It's seen in business cycles where we have rush hour and we have some slow days. We have mood swings. We have success and failure, hitting the jackpot or going bankrupt. You even see the rise and fall of certain nations, creation and destruction, even the rise and fall of the sun and moon. So you see this, and it manifests itself in many physical ways in our lives. So pretty much it talks about when the pendulum, if y'all know what a pendulum looks like, it's pretty much like a little pendant or a crystal on a chain, and it will swing back and forth. So pretty much what it's talking about is, it's talking about the energy. It's not talking about a literal pendulum, but it's the energy of it. When it swings to one direction, point where it can no longer move, it must swing the other way back. So a forward movement is made and can be reversed, but it will swing backwards. And the whole cycle just goes back and forth. Over and over again, it swings back and forth. The cycle is repeated. So this is similar to the law of polarity, like my last video, but the law of rhythm manifests itself in the two poles, but it doesn't have to be on two extremes of another, like love and hate, dark, light, and dark. It doesn't have to swing to the complete opposite end of the spectrum. It could swing a little bit, sometimes when like the kinetic energy kind of slows down, the pendulum doesn't have to swing all the way to the extreme, but it will swing to two sides of the vibration in the polarity. Okay, so how do we apply this in our life? I've seen some videos talk about how to avoid the law of rhythm in your life, how to avoid like the negative swing in our lives, how to like escape, not experience the low pendulum swings in our lives. And in my own opinion, I don't think we can ever completely escape from it, because there are things that happen in our life for a reason, because nothing is coincidental. There are things that happen in our life because we must experience them. We must go through these certain things in our life to gain experience, to gain growth, and to learn from them and evolve into the next stage of our lives. However, I do believe that there are certain events, there are certain things that we can avoid in our life that is of low vibration, that the law of rhythm can help us avoid those. Because not everything in our lives that happens that's negative, we have to experience. That's just what I believe. And there are times that we can use this law to escape or to avoid these negative swings, these negative cycles, or these low cycles in our lives. So how we do this is understanding that there are two different consciousness. There's one of a lower plane and there's one of a higher plane. So the whole point is raising your consciousness. Once again, you must raise your consciousness to a higher plane in order to not be affected by the physical manifestations of the lower plane. So what does this mean? If you watch my other videos, I always talk about striving to be in your highest timeline. Your highest timeline is you being in the best version of yourself. This means you, the version of you that is putting in that work, the version of you that is building self-awareness, the version of you that is healing, the version of you that is mastering your emotions. So this is you in your highest timeline. The version of you in your lowest timeline is someone who is not doing the work, not listening to your intuition, no self-awareness, no consciousness, sitting on your couch, watching TV, and your life is passing you by, pretty much. Because of these lower planes, these lower and higher planes of consciousness, everything starts out in the spiritual first. Whatever energy that is in the spiritual will manifest itself in the physical. So if you're on a lower physical plane, a lower timeline, you experience energy that is on the lower planes because it manifests itself here in the physical, because it is a reflect of one another. We talked about that in the law of correspondence, as above, so below. Whatever low vibrational energies that is in the lower consciousness, you experience it in the physical if you're on the lower timeline. So to avoid this is to be on your higher timeline, always striving to be on the higher timeline, always striving to raise your consciousness, become the best version of yourself. And a good way to practice being on your highest timeline is what is called the law of neutralization. And I mentioned this a little bit on my previous video about neutralizing your thoughts and what mental alchemy and transmutation. So with the law of neutralization, this talks about not allowing your moods or your thoughts to take over you to the point where it affects you physically. You have a physical reaction to it. Not allowing those negative thoughts to manifest in the physical, because the only way it can manifest in the physical is because you give these negative thoughts, negative emotions, so much energy, so much attention, so much time. They pretty much live in your head rent free. You're having inner dialogues that are so negative. Sometimes we don't even realize that we do this subconsciously. And so because of that, as a reaction, those thoughts manifest itself and it gets itself physical form. So to avoid having these negative manifestations, you would practice the law of neutralization. So not allowing these negative thoughts to overcome you and neutralizing your thoughts. When you get a negative thought, you neutralize them and you flip it and you transmute the energy into something that is positive or of higher vibration. And you do this by standing firm in your belief system, standing firm in who you are, standing firm in your emotions and how you feel, so you don't easily fall victim and be swayed by other people's opinions. And this is important because of the things we see on social media. We have a lot of false prophets out there. We have a lot of things that are being exposed to us to bring fear, to control, to brainwash us. And people who are not sure of themselves, people who are not standing firm in their belief system, will easily fall victim to these. And people like this would easily be controlled and easily be manipulated emotionally. This is why a lot of them have mood swings. They easily become excited to depressed, easily become angered, or easily become happy because of being exposed to these things and not having a stable foundation in their emotions. So just to give a quick example, let's say you woke up, you had a great day, you woke up on the right side of the bed, you had a wholesome breakfast, you want to watch some TV, you turn on the news, and you see a shooting happen. And you see people dying, you see shooting. If you're not stable in your emotions or you're not able to transmute that energy, that could ruin your whole day because you're consuming that negativity face value, face front. And if you don't transmute that negativity of fear into a higher vibrational emotion, you're going to be walking around in fear. This is why you need to learn how to transmute these energies, or practice the law of neutralization and not allow that to easily overcome you. Or let's say you're driving on the road, you're driving and someone cuts you off in traffic. That easily, especially where I live, because people be driving crazy any type of way, that could easily ruin someone's day for the entire day, even till the next day. It can still have an effect on them because they're not stable in their emotions, because they're not practicing the law of neutralization or transmutation. So not allowing every little thing to offend you or get offended by everything someone says. So you do this by raising above your ego. So raising above your ego is self-mastery, because you're mastering self, you're mastering your emotions, you're mastering your thoughts, and you're mastering yourself in the spiritual and the physical. So doing your best to not let the ego get the best of you. So don't let things easily have an influence on you. Of course, I want to mention that all of our emotions are meant to be felt. These emotions were created for a reason. We're supposed to experience all and every emotions that are out there, every single one of them. However, I feel like we experience these emotions at the time it is needed to experience them. At the time it's needed to be expressed. If you have something in the deep cores of your heart, suppressed emotions are needed to be expressed, unless you explode and take it out on the wrong people. So these emotions need to be expressed. You need to go through it. You need to feel it in order to heal these emotions. But you heal it and feel it, and then you release them, you let go of them. So you do this to keep a balance within yourself. Alright y'all, that is all I have for today. I hope this video finds you well. I hope you learned something from this video. If there's anything specific you want me to talk about or mention more, just comment it down below. And until next time, I'll see you on the next video. Bye y'all.